All right, y'all. We're on the phone with Sandira Nation, Miss Forks Over Knives. Look at her like a big old fork on the phone, don't you, y'all? She smile. Look at her. She made millions of people in the United States really happy, and she gave them a lot of pleasure knowing that they can make some changes in their life. So, Sandira, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, tell me, how does it feel to appear in that movie, Forks Over Knives, and tell me about a little of your struggles and how did you become who you are with this? What happened?
The way it actually started was I had tried numerous diets prior, and it was, failed. I don't know if I could say like Weight Watchers and different things like that. And I found myself failing a little even on the Weight Watchers. And I remember laying in bed and I prayed, and I just asked God to help me. I needed help because I couldn't do it on my own. The same day I went to work, the nurse came and knocked at my door and asked me to be in the documentary Forks Over Knives. I couldn't turn it down. I told her because I had prayed on it. So I felt like God was answering my prayer. So that's why I said yes.
So, what do you think was one of your major challenges was when you started it? Now, was you making changes before you got introduced to Forks Over Knives, the movie, or did it start after the introduction?
No changes prior to. I was still doing my bad habits while being a diabetic and hypertensive. The changes started after being the film on a Tuesday. That Saturday, I was sitting with Dr. Esselstyn and the film crew from Los Angeles. So I actually started the next day, cold turkey.
What was the hardest part?
Just not being able to eat what I once just was able to, just whatever I wanted. Chicken, hamburgers. The next day was Mother's Day.
Ah,
So I actually had to stay away from my sister's cookout. I literally did not go. I stayed at home by myself on Mother's Day because there's no way I could have went over her house. She had everything: shrimp, ribs, chicken, the grill just going. So that was a challenge for me. So the best thing for me was to not attend because I was nowhere near strong enough to attend something like that.
but when you think about
Surrounded.
it, but when you think about it though, coming from where you've been, and one day you talk about being in a movie, then the next day you're talking about changing your whole lifestyle and diet, it had to be a shock too, though.
It was a shock because I said yes before I knew what was the detail. I said, yeah, sure. Then I Googled Dr. Esselstyn and after I said yes. Then I found out, I went to the nurse and said, do you know I can't have meat on this diet? And she was like, oh, if you don't want to do it, I understand. But I was up for the challenge. It was hard and shocking, but I was up for the challenge and I did it.
So when you think about though, when your first appointment, you first met Dr. Edison, and he laid out the limelight, that the rules or what you were going to do, what did you think?
I just thought, wow, this is going to be really tough. I knew it was going to be really hard, but I wanted to be truthful. I wanted to be honest when I came back at the end or during the film. I wanted to be honest and let people know how I really felt and that I really tried. And that's what kept me going, is that I wanted to be truthful with it. So it was a challenge.
So did you
But
find yourself having to change your family, friends, and stuff like that?
woo, people I was around, yes. Because at that time it was a lot of cookouts. It was in May. It was the beginning of the summer. So we were cooking out just to be cooking out without even a holiday. So a lot of times I just kept myself distant. Or
Yeah.
yeah, because a lot of times you'll go around and they had jokes. You had the jokes and um, even at work, a lady told me, your name is really Sandra. When she found out the things that I was eating, and I didn't understand what she was meaning. I'm like, why my name is Sandra? She's like, what do you have for lunch today? I said, oh, some hummus, and she said, yeah, like I said, your name is Sandra. So what she was saying is, you're not black, you're eating. Yeah, and that really bothered me that she said that.
Hmm.
because, and what I had said to her is, if that's the mentality that we all have, I understand why we're so sick. Because it's not a white or black thing, it's a health thing. And so I was getting jokes and cracks and people saying things, and so a lot of times I did distance myself from around that.
So how hard was it in the household at that point to make it start making changes when you have family and kids and people running around? How hard was that?
Yeah, because I had all five of the children in the house at that time.
All five?
All five.
So all five, you have to go on this complete diet change. Dr. Edison got you changed everything. So what was the hardest part that they had to deal with?
Well, the thing is, when I first initially started, I was cooking two meals. I would cook my meal, and then I would cook the children's meal.
2 meals a day?
Two meals.
Okay.
Until one day, I remember I was frying them some meat, and I looked down at the meat and said, I'm going to kill my kids. I literally thought I'm going to kill them. Because if I'm not eating it for a reason, I shouldn't be feeding it to them. And that was it.
How did
We
they
all,
react to that, though? How did they react to that, though?
they didn't like that. They didn't like it. They didn't like that at all. And as time went on, a couple of the oldest children were able to, move away. So the younger children um, didn't really like it, but didn't really give me a fuss about it.
Right.
I tried to just think of recipes that was fun for them, or let's try this, or once they found out they could still have cookies and cake, they were excited. But it was just about coming up with ideas. And once I explained it to them, the reasoning, you think children wouldn't understand, they really understood because my one son is very athletic. So when I explained to him how I can help him with his performance and playing football and everything,
Right.
he really drew interest to it.
Cool.
He really did.
So he really liked it then.
Yeah, he really liked it. And the fact that it cleared up his acne,
Oh, he really was
he
happy
really
then.
loved it. Yeah, he's like, Mom, the girls say my skin looking good. So yeah, he really loved it then.
Perfect.
hmm
So when did you notice your diabetic number started to change? How long after you started the program did you start noticing difference in your weight, your diabetes, and other things? How long did it take?
Well, Dr. Tim, the next day, the full whole day of eating plant-based, that next morning, I felt better. I felt better. Probably a couple days passed where when I checked prick my fingers, my numbers were so good that I wasn't even taking the metformin or the Byetta. I just stopped taking it because I felt good. So I stopped taking it on my own. So a doctor never told me to stop taking it. I actually felt good. The weight started coming off the next full day, like a pound. And from then on, each day, because I had to keep a journal, so they wanted to know every day what I was eating and what my weight was. So pounds were coming off right away. I was feeling good right away. I stopped taking my medications within maybe the first 2 weeks, totally just off of them.
But if another female was to ask you right now and say, well, Sandia, I know it's hard, but what do I need to do it? How hard, what would you recommend I do if I was going to do something today? And they're changing their health or just themselves. What would you tell them to do?
First, get the research, find out what actually is going on with your body, because a lot of people don't know. We don't know our numbers and what our numbers mean, how important that is. So I would say to find out what your numbers are and understand what that means. Just look into the risk where obesity comes in with diabetes, and then comes high cholesterol, then how it just changes altogether. I would just tell them to, be an advocate for themselves, for their own health, and not just rely on a doctor or someone else to tell you what you need to do, but just investigate for yourself and just to try, and they'll start seeing how good they feel immediately. And once you start feeling good, you don't even really want to go back because you feel so good once you're eating healthier. And just being creative with food, because a lot of people even me in the beginning wasn't very creative. Just don't stick to the same things every day. Because I was doing that for a while, was getting real bored. But just getting creative with your food, and just try it. Just learn more about what's going on with your body.
What do you think the fear factor is, though, when you the average person thinks about changing their diet, changing their lifestyle? What do you think the biggest fear they have want to go plant based? What do you think really stops them?
I hear people say, "I don't want to look what's the word, hippie." I've heard it all. I don't want to look, I don't want to lose my shape. I don't want to lose my hips. I've heard that. Um, Chicken tastes so good. That was their fear, just giving up the food, just giving up the foods that they enjoyed so long, and they got this vision that vegan, vegetarians, or plant based, you're gonna look, what's the word, like droopy, and they have this vision
All right.
of how a vegan looks, which is not true. But a lot of fear is just not giving up what they've been eating for so long.
So if you had to analyze your struggle, what would be you say your number two, your top two struggles, plant based, starting or now, has been?
The struggles were family functions, being around family functions. That's a struggle because no one else was eating nowhere near vegan, vegetarian, plant based. So that's a really, really big struggle right there. Um, and another couple of struggles before knowing what I know now is, like my sister and I did a lot of shopping on the weekends and eating. So it became a struggle when there wasn't many restaurants for me to go and enjoy that time with her like we once had. So those are a couple of struggles that we had.
Well, you should have, but now most people go plant based. They save quite a bit of money though,
Yeah, you do.
because you're not going to restaurants, you're not going to fast food, you're not doing any impulse buying. So now
Mm.
you have a more of a detailed. Would you agree? More of a detailed, thought out plan.
Correct. Correct. And that's very important is to really plan out your meals ahead of time because there's times in the beginning I remember not planning them out and then you're very hungry right then and then you're gonna do something crazy like grab anything that's in your reach. But planning ahead is very important. Uh, Traveling, I started putting carrots in a Ziploc and fruits and air pop popcorn or always having something in the car. Um, that really helps. That really helps. But having your meals pre-planned. A lot of times you can make something on Sunday and you can make a great big old pot of it, especially if it's something you really enjoy. Have it for a couple of days, freeze it, just to have something available. I had got to the point where I would make more than one meal and just put it in a Tupperware bowl. That way all you had to do was microwave it or it was already ready for you to grab and just take to work. So, those important things to always be prepared.
So now, how's it with family and holidays now?
Oh, family and holidays
Today.
today. It's still mixed because we've had holidays here and they will not eat uh, plant-based dishes for some reason, just in fear of. So we've had people bring over different dishes, and everyone's still eating whatever they've always eaten,
Okay.
and that's still a issue with the family.
Okay. Well, it takes a little while. Families are hard because the thing about family, they know us. They know us better than anybody else, and so they know our weaknesses. And they know how to tempt us. But also on the flip side, when you getting healthy and they got issues that you haven't, they want to know from you how you got better and what are you doing. And a lot of times they do it privately. It's not openly no more. It's privately, and it's one of them backdoor calls, as I always say, a backdoor now. But the thing about it is you're looking good. You're doing you got the house going like you're supposed to. And if one thing you could tell somebody that's thinking about going plant-based today, some person, some female is sitting there and saying, but I want to do it, but I got to struggle with whatever. What would you tell that person?
Your life is more important than that food.
But what if it's not food that's got them struggling? What if it's a person?
Oh, like
Because sometimes we try to please other people, not ourselves.
That's true. That's true. You just got to make yourself number one priority at all times. At all times. And there were times I went through situations like that, trying to please other people, but at the end of the day, you felt bad or you felt sick, or and it just had to get to the point with loving yourself more than that situation, more than that person. It takes time. A lot of it is mental, and it's very important to surround yourself with people like yourself. I had my one friend, I had got her into eating plant-based, so I would call her up, and her and I started doing more things together. And so when you find that you're around people who are striving to get to where you are, where you've been, or who's interesting, it's a little easier. It's a little easier.
Okay. Well, guys, I've been talking to the one and only Sandira Nation. Forks Over Knives. Boy, she's looking good. She's trying to help somebody that's having a struggle. And trust me, she's been there. She's been doing this now for a minute. And like I said, she's had her days, like we all have our days. But the bottom line is, it's nothing like taking care of your health and living for life. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Well, thank you for the interview.
And thank you for having me.
And I wish you for all the success in the world.
Thank you, Dr. Tim.